I am drawing loop-de-loos, also known as Snoopy. When I listened to my dad at the age of 5, him talk about the dream of owning the family business. You see, my dad was a dreamer, and he gave me the power of we. He also gave me the ability to think about someday. See, my family was owner operator truck driver. So he always talked about owning that trucking business. And my grandma Carol, at the time I didn't know, she owned her own cleaning business and she didn't even graduate 8th grade. Now you see, my mom, she was a giver of hope. She believed in the good in people, even when they were bad. She always showed up, even in the most unexpected ways. She came from a family of military, which meant discipline and structure and egg timers for shower time. My mom could be very extra, to the point that she convinced me that when I would hold the doors open every morning at Wawa, that I was saving lives, because that you never know when somebody's having a bad day, and just holding the door and smiling at them could make all the difference. But you see, both of them gave me my addiction, my raging anger, and my generational trauma. Our dream was put on hold to own the family business because we had to relocate and downsize. You see, we went from a 2-story house with a big backyard to a 1-floor rancher with 3 bedrooms and 10 people. Everything I owned, I lived with. Half of my bed was my clothes and all of my toys, and the other half was where I slept. There was 2 bunk beds, 1 dresser, and 5 people in my bedroom. That was my family. My mom didn't know how to drive, so she learned how to get her driver's license. We lived 30 minutes from anywhere. We went from living close to the city, walking distance from everything, to living in the middle of the woods and far away from all the dreams of owning a family business one day. My mom also became very unpredictable at this time, but the light got brighter. As we moved forward, my dad found a place in Marlton, closer to the city, still far away that we still had to drive places, but we were right close in the middle of everything. That was for the brighter future. My dad eventually got his CDL. We didn't know at the time that my dad made poor choices when he was younger, and he wound up with several DUIs, which held him back from owning his own business as a truck driver. You see, you can't have a CDL license when you have DUIs. My mom became even more erratic, to the point where she was licking windows when my friends would pick me up from school. My teen years, they got brighter again. So we keep going, and I'm going to own that business. So I go to a technical high school where my parents both attended. My tech teacher was actually the person that walked with my mom at graduation. My principal, you see, was my parents' science teacher. I felt like I could get away with anything at that school. I was on 2 soccer teams. I was an all-star, and I was heading towards college. That was my ticket out. And then things got really dark at home. And the only thing that I could figure out what to do was to get pregnant. You see, back then, the internet was very limited, but in certain states, if you were 16 and pregnant, you could get emancipated, which opened up doors. I could still be a business owner. I could still do things. I wasn't going to be held back by what was going on at home. So I dropped out of high school. I enrolled in GED classes, and I got my GED before my class even graduated high school. I had my diploma, GED diploma, in May, and my class walked the stage in June. I couldn't be more prouder. I was losing everything, but gaining everything all at the same time. I enrolled in college for the fall. I was super excited because I was finally getting there. It didn't matter how I got there. I was in college. My aunt paid for it. I was going. And then I got the welcoming news that I was going to have a baby boy. So I started pivoting, and I was planning for my future, but also planning a new future with somebody else suddenly. And then I got lost in the sauce because I, always do. And then I joined the military because that was the thing that I knew that would keep me stable. You see, my mom came from a family of military, like I said. And within 2 weeks, I fell 6 feet. Hurt my right side. I wound up with a line of duty in that time for my right side, but nobody asked me about my head. Nobody checked. They just checked my right hip and my right leg. So you see, I came back. I was no longer allowed to go active duty, so I came back, and I was without a home. So for the next 9 years, I moved and I was unstable yet again. I moved 11 times in that 8 years. I was homeless. I was working 2 jobs. I was everything. You name it, it was happening. I even tried 4 other types of college education while trying to just stay alive. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, the greatest thing since sliced bread. It gave me so much hope, but also gave me so much trauma. We became stable, but only due to loss. You see, my son's father, the day I went for our custody battle, we had to have those neuropsych evals, or, at court. And I went for my day, and the day that mine was the day that we lost him in a freak house fire. And that evaluation was scary enough. I already was terrified. And then when I went in front of that judge to hear the results of that test, knowing that my son's father was no longer alive and that I was his real choice, she told me that the test came back that I was not competent to be a mother, that I wasn't even competent to take care of myself, and that she could take my son from me, but she wasn't going to. She was going to give me a chance. I didn't understand why I couldn't pass any of these tests. I was doing so many things in my life. We lost my mom within 6 months. We were stable. Things were going great. We were planning for the future. But she couldn't do it anymore. She struggled all her life with mental health. And this is where she decided that it was her end. And she did the best that she could with what she had. And that's what she taught me, to have hope and to hold on for as long as you can. The pandemic came and I almost lost myself. After a hysterectomy, vein issues, and a cancer scare, I was diagnosed finally after 13 plus years with a traumatic brain injury. Everything made sense. I finally had more answers and more questions, and I was confused all the time because I had visual and audio disorder. I forget how it's said. And then I have severe dyslexia, which is why I can't remember things. Oh, and 1/4 of the time, I don't even know what's going on. And sometimes I check out, to the point where the doctor asked if English was my first language, but it's my only language, I said. How can that be? Because nobody asked me about my head. I went to Chicago in 2003 and I suffered a complex migraine. You see, I had fluid on the brain. I had to take a train home, and I took 2.5 months to learn how to walk, talk, and drive again. And that's when I did that half marathon, because I didn't want to sit around and just wait for the doctors to not listen to me anymore. I drove every day to the gym, working hard to get strong enough. And every day I drove by this construction site, and the opportunity to take my own life presented itself. I drove every day, planning, watching, waiting, and timing out the perfect time to drive off the overpass that was being constructed on. But you see, my mom taught me to have hope and to hold on for a brighter day. And you never know when somebody's going through something. And the last thing that I wanted to do was cause anybody trauma by taking my own life and them having to find me, because that wouldn't be a good day. So I decided not to take my life, and I accepted help from those around me. And my family finally saw that I was struggling so bad that my health was unstable, and that I was seeing over 300 doctors, or 300 visits to the doctors in 1 year. Today, I'm almost 40, 2 months away. I'm 1 month away from being 3 months sober, or 3 years, excuse me. I always do that. It's not months, it's 3 years. I've worked really hard for that. And I'm in the 2nd season of my own business, and I have my own shop. I know my mom's looking down on me proud that I didn't stop going, and I am a business owner today.